when you give yourself permission to not do 100%, but to start at 50%, it doesn't seem so overwhelming.
Yeah. Welcome to the Be It Till You See It podcast, where we talk about taking messy action, knowing that perfect is boring. I'm Lesley Logan, Pilates instructor and fitness business coach. I've trained thousands of people around the world, and the number one thing I see stopping people from achieving anything is self-doubt. My friends, action brings clarity, and it's the antidote to fear. Each week, my guests will bring bold, executable, intrinsic, and targeted steps that you can use to put yourself first and be it till you see it. It's a practice, not a perfect. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Be It Till You See It interview recap, where my co-host in life, Brad, and I are going to dig into the authentic convo I had with Erin Hatzikostas in our last episode. If you haven't yet listened to that one, you want to go listen to that one because it's fucking great. She's amazing. She's a force to be reckoned with. And her book is out this week, guys.
Her book is out this week.
All right. So today is Thursday, October 3rd, 2024. And guess what day it is, you guys?
I know.
It's our anniversary day.
What?
I know. About this day.
About this
9
day.
years ago today, bless you, August.
What, you don't like our anniversary?
Yeah, he does not. 9 years ago today, Brad and I got married in a hardware store on La Brea.
Yeah, we did.
And let me tell you, that was a Be It Till You See It wedding. We really worked backwards from what we wanted. We had so much fun. We had all its ups and downs, but it was one of the most amazing nights that I still love. Our pictures are beautiful and amazing. And so we married for 9 years. And we're spending it together in Cambodia.
I know. It's exciting. In fact, I think we've
Usually we're like flying. Oh, are we missing? 1 year we flew. And so the day we missed on the calendar was our anniversary day. So it's just very rare that we're either together or that it exists because
Yes, I was literally just checking my calendar to be like, is it our anniversary though?
It is.
It definitely is.
It is. My grandparents would fight around their anniversary if it was like November 2nd or November 3rd. And they fought forever. They fought for as long as my dad was alive. So I don't know, like 50 something years, right? My dad's still alive, but they're dead. Anyways, when my grandfather died. So yeah, my dad was in his 40s, 50s, probably late 40s, late 50s. My grandfather died. My grandmother took his wedding ring off, right? They gave it to him, and the fucking anniversary date is in the ring. It's engraved, and she was right the whole time. And he knew. He had it in his ring. He knew what day it was.
That is really funny.
So clearly we're in Cambodia because we have a retreat, and you can join us in February. It's not too late. In fact, This is the best time to snag your spot because it's the best time to even look at flights and everything.
But on this day, you said already, we got married in a hardware store. It was called The Loft at Liz's.
Oh, yeah.
I think it still is there.
It's
in Los Angeles.
It's a very famous hardware store.
Yeah, we had our wedding venue change on us last minute. And it turns out they have an art gallery upstairs in the back. And in there, they also have a kitchen. And so it was actually even better than where we thought we wanted to get married initially, because we had all of our friends help us put the wedding on. So the chef was my friend. The photographer was Lesley's friend. The band was my friend.
And also the kitchen was in the dancing area. So the chef was part of the event. He wasn't exactly like right. He wasn't away
in the back room somewhere like slaving away. You know, he was part of the party.
Yeah.
And that made it even more fun. It was really lovely. So yeah, it was a super fun day.
We had only like 75 people at this wedding.
Yeah.
And we knew everyone but my hairdresser's fiance. And it was so funny because we made everybody wear black and white, and we wore the color. And you were walking around in color, getting ready for the wedding. You were ready for the wedding, right? And walking around, and I was hidden away. And he said to his fiance, now wife, but he said, "It's like that guy's wearing color." She's like, "That's the groom." That's the only one
that we didn't know. You know what's really? I was also laughing about this the other night. So we decided to do the after the party at a bar. Right next door to the venue.
Hilarious.
That I had been to, I don't know, a few times, like twice, 3 times. And I called them and I said, "Hey guys, this is Brad. My wife and I are going to get married. We want to come have our after party at your place." And they were like, "That is so cool. We are so excited. We can't wait. It's going to be amazing." I was like, "Great. All right." So we booked this whole thing, and they're like, "You know what? We're even going to do champagne. It's going to be so fun. And then, a couple months go by and I call them like a month before the wedding just to confirm everything, to lock it in, to triple check. Hey, just to make sure we got a place sectioned off for us. And this other person answers the phone and she said, "We are so excited that you're coming. We love you." And I was like, "You do?" I was like, "That's kind of weird. I've only been there a few times, but I'm so excited too. That's amazing."
And also, we even said to ourselves, it's so weird. They didn't want a credit card.
Yeah, they didn't ask us for
They
anything.
didn't ask for like quantity of people.
Yeah, they were just like, "Love it. You guys come party here." Right? So okay. So we have our wedding. Then we have our reception up in the art gallery. And then the night's closing down and I'm like, anyone who wants to hang, we're all going to go right next door to this bar. And we show up at the bar and I said, "Hey guys, I'm Brad and I'm here with our wedding party." And there's 15 people piling in the door. And they're like, "What? But what?" It turns out there was another fucking dude named Brad getting married on the exact same night who was a regular at that bar. And he and his new wife were also bringing the after party. And we both showed up at the same exact time.
Yes. So they did give us some champagne. They still did.
They totally hooked it up. It was
we didn't have a
party.
table. We didn't have a section, but like, it's okay.
Hilarious.
It was really a lot of fun.
It was so funny. And they definitely accommodated us. It was made the miscommunication make more sense at that point.
Do you have any more things about this day before I roll back into
No, let's keep going.
Okay. So we are in Cambodia. You can join us in Cambodia. There's room in the February retreat right now. So you want to go to crowsnestretreats.com. We're going right after the Lunar New Year, which is going to be really great because
it's gonna be amazing.
The stuff from Celebration is still going to be up, and it's just what they do is so beautiful. The sunrises in February are amazing. And so we hope you join us.
You should absolutely join us. February is going to be a great group and it's a beautiful time of year. Yeah. Next up,
I'm going to be going to LA when we get back. First, I actually have a little trip to Arizona and then I'm going to be going to LA. When we get back, and I'm going to be doing the photo shoot for the accessories deck. So you want to get on the wait list for that because only those on the wait list get the pre-sale price. Yes, you have to wait after you buy it, but you get the best price on a new deck. And here's what you need to know at the wait list. When I see that more and more people are on the wait list, it's kind of like happiness for Tinkerbell. Like, you know what I mean? Like think happy thoughts for Tinkerbell, because there are times that I'm like, I'm so excited about this deck. And then there's times I'm like, fuck, this deck is so much work. And so
think of a wonderful thing.
Yeah. Helps me fly. Really is what it helps me do. So get on the wait list at opc.me/flashcard waitlist. We are making sure that so many of these accessories are things you either have at home or you can make at home.
Yeah.
So on the YouTube channel, we've already made a 2x4. We made a sandbag. We made a toe corrector. We're going to work on the push-up devices. I have more research to do on that. But right now, I think you'd only have to do a pedipole and a guillotine and a foot corrector.
Sounds amazing.
There's the breathalyzer as well.
But
It's one card, guys. So you can always skip that one. It's still good. Also, Brad is still offering his amazing webinar.
That's right.
It's the accelerator. Tell them all about it.
Yeah. If you are running a small fitness business up to like $1 million, you should come join us at the Pilates Studio Growth Accelerator that I've been hosting. Go to prfit.biz/accelerator. If you're feeling stuck at all with your money or getting new clients, or you're just not sure how to grow, move forward, any of those things, you could be about to be a teacher, a brand new teacher. You could have a home studio. You could be running a boutique studio. Any of those different roles, this is applicable for you. I want you to come join me. It's totally free. prfit.biz/accelerator. That's profit without the O. prfit.biz/accelerator.
And then when all of this is going on, we're having a winter tour.
That's right.
It's the biggest tour we've ever done.
Yeah, it's quite an undertaking. It's going to be 8,200 miles. We're looking at 23 locations over 35 days, I think, like that. Wow. I'm very excited.
It's a long time for me to be out of my routines. I'm just going to say it here. So we will be bringing some equipment on this shindig because I'm going to need it.
Yeah. Well, not only that, we're giving ourselves more days off in between. You know, this summer tour that we did was 9 days in a row of teaching. Plus we had the week before of work. So we really didn't do ourselves any favors on that. We're going to be a lot more intentional. We're going to take a day off here, a day off there, all throughout, so that we have a little bit of a breather and we get to explore different parts of the country a little bit more and enjoy ourselves. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, we can't wait.
Yeah, you should come join us. Go to opc.me/tour, opc.me/tour.
All right, we're about to get into Erin's amazingness, her authenticness. But before that, we have an audience question.
Yeah, we do. This is a cool one from YouTube. Sherry Hennepin535 asks, hey, I'd like to make a pedipole. Hope you have some ideas for this. I made my gondola and reformer poles from maple and gifted to my teacher training students when they test out.
Yeah, isn't that cool? So we
Yeah.
actually showed how easy it is to make those. I mean, maple's so nice that we just took whatever wood they sold.
We just got pine from the store. It wasn't anything fancy. Although you could lacquer the pine and it would make it cool. You
can also paint it. Mindy painted me a pole.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so cute. It's like it's OPC colors. I love it so much.
But maple's fancy.
So here's the deal about the pedipole. It's actually not that difficult to make.
Okay.
But
here's
why I wouldn't suggest you make one.
Okay.
The length of the pole you need to get that, if you don't have some sort of like pole, what would you call a pole store? Like a lumber store, like just a
plumbing store, a hardware store.
A plumbing store. But the length you need and it's not that thick. It's on purpose. It's not that thick. So one of our Elevate grads.
I bet you could call around and find a spot.
So one of our Elevate grads, Pilates bound. So we know how detail oriented this woman is.
Very much so.
And how she's a project manager. So she can make anything happen. And she was going to make one. And after all the research they were going to do, they bought one instead. Because to get the pole that you need to ship that pole costs almost as much as a new pedipole.
Come on. Really?
So unless you live somewhere where this particular type of pole exists in the diameter, the right diameter at the right length, it's not you can like attach two poles together. It's going to be one long pole. So the shipping on one long pole is the problem.
I see.
And so it's not that expensive to buy. I think Contrologies is, I want to say it was like, I don't know, we could look it up, but I felt like it was like $500 or $600. It's not the most expensive thing I've ever purchased in my life. Obviously, it might be more now since cost of metal has gone up, but you'll have to order the springs from someone. And here's what I will tell you. Contrology will not sell you the pedipole springs if you don't have a pedipole.
Yeah, it's just under $600.
Yeah. So Contrology won't sell you. And by the way, during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, which is coming up, they have a free shipping typically. Don't quote me because I didn't tell them it's coming, but it's typically there every Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
And then,
so you could use my discount.
That's right.
Get a little off, save on the shipping, and then you just screw it in and you're done. So it's if Yeah, it's super easy. It's our person's so nice and we'll take care of you. But here's the deal. If you live in some sort of metal yard, like you're in a famous area that's got poles, by all means. But what I will say is, again, it's going to be very difficult to buy the Contrology pedipole springs because last time my friend who tried to make one that was shorter because she's super short. So she made a shorter one that's like the dimensions would have been like, she tried to make it as close to what it was, but her ceilings are also low. She could not order the pedipole springs from Contrology. She had to go through another company.
That's annoying.
And it's really annoying because other companies suck at customer service. So Sherry Hennefe 535. There's a lot of things we can make. And there's some things that it's just probably cheaper based on how much time it's going to take you to hunt all these materials down to just buy it.
I love it. Awesome. All right. Well, if you're ready to get into what Erin Hatzikostas said, stick around. We'll be right back. All right. Now let's talk about Erin Hatzikostas. Erin is a former corporate CEO turned entrepreneur, speaker, and author of the books You Do You-ish and The 50% Rule. She co-hosts the podcast Because, that's B space C-A-U-S-E, Because Work Doesn't Have to Suck. That's the name of the pod. I love it. Erin is dedicated to helping leaders and organizations foster environments where authenticity is recognized and incentivized. I just really enjoyed her vibe.
She's so fun.
Yeah.
She's really a lot of fun. I saw her speak at She Who Wins.
Yeah.
And even though like I could have had all these connections with her, Jessica Papanow is how I got introduced to her.
Come on.
Yeah. And then we did a coffee date and we had way too much fun chatting back and forth.
Yeah. She was here in town, right?
And then I booked her on the pod, but before I interviewed her, she did come into town and I took an Uber and we went to Super Frico.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a bizarre restaurant to go to with a brand new friend.
Yeah.
So like this weird, not a minion, not a penguin, but some sort of like Monsters Inc. came out with a big Lizzo butt and it like moves one butt cheek than the other. She got a kick out of it. Anyways, we talked a lot about authentic leadership and like that it doesn't happen overnight. And if you're like, I'm not a leader. Like we all are leaders of some kind, but let's just replace authentic leadership with be it till you see it. Be it till you see it doesn't happen overnight. You start, and this is what she said about authentic leadership. Yeah. You start with little experiments and you observe more than you normally would. Mm-hmm. So if you normally just send out emails to people and you don't really like do a check-in like, oh, do we have a response rate on that? Did anyone actually write back in? You would actually do a little experiment and then you would actually go be more observant of that thing just to see how it goes. And I love the word experiment because we're not trying to be perfect here. You're just trying to see how this works. And it is a muscle. It's you have to take it to the gym, which means you don't grab the big weights right at once. You're going to grab little ones and you're going to work with that. So she also said you have to unlearn and you have to do tangible experiments to start collecting that quote unquote data. So this is hard for us sometimes too, because we're like, this is how it usually goes. Whenever we do something, like it usually just like does this thing. And when something doesn't like hit it out of the ballpark right away, you have to unlearn your expectation that things work out. Yeah. And you have to focus on tangible experiments that you can actually go, well, what worked there? And we've talked about this with agency members, like reflecting on the things that you do. What actually happened? How many people did you present that information to? How many people bought? Like you have to go off of data, not feelings. Yeah. And because it's really hard when you're stepping out of your comfort zone and you're trying to be more authentic or trying to be it till you see it, it's easy to go off of vibes and really you should be going off of the data.
That's a really good point at the end. It just throws my example out the window, but
the vibes?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, I guess that's fair. So we got ourselves a cold plunge. Right.
Oh, yeah.
And I haven't like really thought about it in the way that we just described about data and vibes. But what I did notice is that we've now had it for, I don't know, 4 months, maybe. Every time I'm home, every day that I'm home, I've been using it. And what I noticed, it took until this past week for me to just get all the way in right away. Like, just do it. Get in, bam.
What were you doing before?
I would stand in it and then sit and then lean back. Now it's almost like if I could freaking cannonball into that thing, I would do it because it's almost like I'm in before I'm even cold and then I'm cold and I'm cold all around my body at the same time. Then if I like sit my butt in first and then I'm like, it's cold and then lean back and then I'm like, and so like this past week, what I've been doing.
I have to watch how you get in because I do step in, sit down pretty quickly. And then I lower myself back and it's the lowering myself back that takes my breath away.
Of course. That's what I mean.
Like, so it feels like the breath is literally being sucked out of my body. Out of you. Like I could watch it. Like there it goes.
Well, so anyway, we're talking about data and I've now done this 3 mornings in a row where I just like, okay, here we go. I actually put my hands down on the sides first and then I just scoops and I'm in. And I noticed that it's easier to get in that way because there's still like, I know how much I feel good after doing it. I know all that stuff, but there's still that moment of hesitation of like, do I really want to do this today? It's going to be cold. And then I just do it.
Oh yeah. I can't even, here's the thing, like just the idea of wasting a day with not using it is like just outside of who I am.
Well, the other day I don't remember.
So are you talking about unlearning and then like?
I was talking about data collection.
Oh, data collection.
Where okay. Like, yeah, that's how this somehow ties in with what.
Okay, I'm just trying to bring it back.
The data collection is that it took me this long to collect that data. We've been doing it every day for 4 months. And I finally just had this revelation now, like yesterday. And I was like, oh, okay, this is definitely a better way to do it. So, sometimes it takes some time. But I think being analytical about that will also help you realize.
Yeah, I'm in.
So, quote unquote data. Love it. All right.
What'd you learn?
She said we have this big idea about authenticity, but we get paralyzed because we think we have to do it all at once. And I think it's a little out of context here because we don't really have the rest of the conversation. But when we think about it's like comparing ourselves to other people who we think, oh, wow, they're so authentic and they're authentic in all these amazing ways. And that is what can become overwhelming because we're like, well, maybe I have to be just like them, being authentic in all of these ways that I look up to that person and think that they're cool and awesome and whatever, and inspirational and all that stuff. And I really like, she kind of rattled off a whole list of these, what are they? Alliterations. And she said there's two that specifically she mentioned called the perfection pain or the pioneer paralysis, which happens when people feel overwhelmed by these big ideas. And she had like a bunch more. There was a couple that began with a letter
Yes,
C.
they're all in her You Do You-ish book, and they're
That's
so good. You guys,
Yeah.
I got an advanced copy, sort of. Not physical. I got it like a secret. No, this is not it. This is her first book, Brad. This is
That's
You
what
Do
you
You-ish.
that's what you said.
Yeah, but I actually know this.
The new one is called 50%,
and
the 50% rule.
Yes, and what you're quoting is from the 50% rule. It's in the first chapter, I think.
Got it.
And I got to read, or at least the first part, and I got to read it while it was like going through. Anyways, I'm just bragging a little bit.
Well,
there's so many, and I was like, oh, because I like those alliterations, because just like I like the big leap where I'm like, oh, I'm upper limbing myself right there. I can go, oh, I'm pioneering paralysis right now. Like, I love it.
They're really cool, really helpful. And I think it is, high level. The idea is that we should take one step at a damn time. One step at a damn time. Because when you see someone who we look at and go, oh my gosh, that person is like, they're clearly genuinely being themselves. They didn't just start doing that all at once, one day at a time. They've been doing these things over many, many years. And so if we feel like I have to be authentic like them, first off, that's funny, ironic, but also too, it can be paralyzing. It can lead to that inaction of overwhelm of like the perfectionist of like, you know what I mean? So I thought it was cool. You don't have to try to figure it out all at once, just one step at a time. So
yeah. I can't wait to get the actual the printed copy of the book.
Well, show us this one more time. What are we looking at
here? This is You Do You-ish.
You Do You-ish.
And it is unleash your authentic superpowers to get the career of your dreams.
Yeah.
And I heard her speak a little bit about this, and I really like it. Anyways, I think sometimes we try to be so perfect, we're not even being ourselves. So if you're just like ish yourself, like probably more authentic than you. And then the 50% rule, we'll get into, I don't want to give it away because it's in my Be It action item. So,
okay. All right. Well, stick around for that tantalizing Be It action item teaser. We'll be right back. Okay, so finally, y'all know what time it is. It is time for those Be It action items. Say it with me, y'all. What bold, executable, intrinsic, or targeted action items can we take away from your convo with Erin Hatzikostas? I'm going to jump in first. She said, nothing you're going to do is like anybody else. And y'all know how much we agree with this and love this. Lesley says it all the time. You're the only one that can do what you do the way that you do it. What Erin was talking about, she said, for those managing larger teams or complex projects, Erin introduced this idea of, it's called an innovation framework, and it breaks down the 50% rule into 6 steps. In your convo, she actually only mentioned one of those 6, which is, you got to go get the book. But she talked about intent. She said she believes it is the most powerful of the 6. When trying to do something, strip away the how or the why. Just think about the intention. Why are we doing this? Or the intent of doing this. Ask yourself, what are you really trying to achieve here? I thought this was cool. I think that it's going to make more sense to go with the other 5 parts as well. And of the 6, I bet it is the most powerful, but I'm unaware of what the rest of them are just yet. But I think this is important. Why are we doing something? How are we doing something? We get stuck in those things. And I think like intent and why kind of are parallel.
Or ish, but also like sometimes just the why, you get stuck on that. So what's the intention? What's the like outcome that you desire to have? Mm-hmm. Then you could often ask yourself, why do I want to have that outcome? Yeah. You know what I mean? Because maybe the why you do everything you do is to make sure no one's homeless, right? But what you're doing actually is providing a fundraiser, and you have all these things you're trying to get and all this stuff. And so it's like your intent of that fundraiser is to raise money because your why is this. So I think I like intent because it actually whittles it down, and you can kind of take away the pressure and just go, what the fuck am I doing here?
What are we doing here, people? Yeah. What are we doing here, people? And so I think this helps too with leading a team. I just really appreciated her talking about her celebrating with her team as they were achieving milestones in their goals. And when she finally did decide to step away, her team said, we're going to miss your authenticity. So that's pretty cool. Well, what about you?
Well, she talked a little bit about the 50% rule, which I think is important to talk about here because it's really easy to consider like, oh, maybe it means like doing 50% of something. And then there's the cynic who can go, well, that's just half-assing it. It's like, that's not it at all. She's like, anytime someone tells you about something new and something you can do in your life, whether it is a fitness coach or a business coach or a therapist, like all these things, they'll go, here are the 5 things you got to do to have X in your life. She is suggesting that you actually look at it and take only 50% of it and then you curate the other 50%. For example, I've talked about this a couple times in the pod. I really like Mindy Pell's idea of fasting. I know it's really helpful for people with gut issues. Now she's got a 30-day thing, especially if you're a female with a cycle. There's like, on this day, you can fast 15 hours. On this day, you could fast 13 hours. I'm like, it's complicated. Okay. And unless I'm going to print this fucking thing out. So what I did is I was just like, okay, what's my goal here? And what can I take from this information? And what am I going to add to myself? And so what I could take from it is like, on every day of my cycle, I could fast for 13 hours. Doesn't matter where I'm at. So right now I'm doing 13 hours.
Yeah.
And the other part of the thing that I saw of hers is first 2 weeks of my cycle, heavy on the protein, second 2 weeks, enjoy the carbs. And so I have taken 50% of her stuff. I'm like, I can do this. And the other 50% I am curating and coming up with my own way so that it fits with my lifestyle. And that is way better than if I had printed the thing out. I was like, well, today I could go to 17. So I should go, like, it just makes us not fun and it doesn't bring our authenticity to it.
Right.
So,
yeah. I think it's great. I think also she started to see the 50% rule everywhere she was talking about as she was writing the book, where she saw people who embraced the idea and then made a shift with whatever they had learned. And that actually made it more authentic to themselves anyway.
Yeah. Because also, like, this is something like when we coach people on too, they're like, well, you said X, Y, and Z. And I said, well, I said that. And I also said, take one step at a time. And you are trying to take 20 steps and do it exactly right. Like,
yep.
It's going to be different for everyone. There's not a single business coach out there, fitness trainer, anything who's going to be like, this template will always work for you.
Yeah.
So if you can take the intention behind it and the goal and understand like the concepts, and then how do you work? How do you operate? I'm someone who can get a little obsessed about things. So in order to not get obsessed, I was like, what's the bare minimum? Got it.
Got it.
Because like that's going to allow me to stay myself.
50%ed.
Yeah, 50%ed. So I just think it's a really, really great. I think it's really good. It's a good way for the perfectionist to get out of the pain. I think
that's the thing too. This really fits with what we were talking about earlier about trying to do all the things at once. When you give yourself permission to not do 100%, but to start at 50%, it doesn't seem so overwhelming.
Yeah.
Suddenly you're not like in that, what does she say? Paralysis.
Pioneer paralysis.
Yeah, pioneer paralysis or the perfection pain. Mm-hmm. You're able to work your way through it.
Yeah. So you guys go get her fucking book.
Yeah.
Go get the 50% rule. It's on sale now.
Then tell her that we sent you.
Yes,
DM
please
her.
do. And also, here's another thing you can do. You can DM her and say, I left you a review after I bought the book.
Yeah, she would be so grateful.
That is currency right there. And she's a cool chick. And we want this book to get out because it actually, I think it's helped a lot of people out there.
Yeah, Erin Hatzikostas.
Yes. So my loves, how are you going to use these tips in your life?
Ooh.
We want to know.
Yeah.
Tag Erin. Tag the Beit Pod.
Yeah.
Share this with a friend who needs to 50%, here and there. And until next time, be it till you see it.
Bye for now.
That's all I got for this episode of the Be It Till You See It podcast. One thing that would help both myself and future listeners is for you to rate the show and leave a review. And follow or subscribe for free wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, make sure to introduce yourself over at the Beit Pod on Instagram. I would love to know more about you. Share this episode with whoever you think needs to hear it. Help us and others be it till you see it. Have an awesome day. Be It Till You See It is a production of the Bloom Podcast Network. If you want to leave us a message or a question that we might read on another episode, you can text us at +1 310 905 5534 or send a DM on Instagram at BeItPod.
It's written, filmed, and recorded by your host, Lesley Logan, and me, Brad Crowell.
It is transcribed, produced, and edited by the epic team at Disenyo.co.
Our theme music is by Ali at Apex Production Music, and our branding by designer and artist Gianfranco Cioffi.
Special thanks to Melissa Solomon for creating our visuals.
Also to Angelina Herrico for adding all of our content to our website. And finally, to Meredith Root for keeping us all on point and on time.